All right, so let's jump into this deep dive today. We're going to be looking at the work history and skills of Gregory Fish,
Okay.
a creative professional who really specializes in video.
Okay.
And one of the things that jumped out at me right away was that he has won awards for his documentary films.
Interesting.
So that really piqued my interest.
Awards can definitely be a good indicator of
Yeah,
someone's talent and how impactful their work is.
absolutely. So starting with the basics, we see that Gregory is based in Mount Vernon, Missouri.
Good to know.
He describes himself as a creative team and communications veteran specializing in video work from concept to completion. And he highlights skills like copywriting, graphic design, social media, marketing, and production.
Wow, that's quite the range.
Yeah, it really is.
It seems like he would have a really well-rounded skill set, which could be great for you depending on what you need.
Yeah,
I mean, someone who can handle a lot of different aspects of the creative process
right.
could help to streamline your workflow
For sure.
and bring a really cohesive vision to whatever you're working on.
That's a great point. And he even mentions that he has a passion for brainstorming, collaboration, and striving to exceed expectations on every project.
Wow.
You can just kind of feel that enthusiasm,
Yeah.
even just reading his resume.
I agree, and I think that kind of energy
Yeah,
usually means that you get better results.
for sure.
And speaking of results, he's been running his own company
Oh, yeah.
called Fish Expressions, and he creates promotional and testimonial videos for nonprofits and other organizations.
That's great.
Yeah, and I think that experience in crafting narratives for certain audiences could be really valuable if you are trying to connect with a certain demographic.
Absolutely. And then there's his documentary work.
Oh, right.
So The Butterfly People, which was released in 2024,
Okay.
won Best Feature Film at the First City Film Festival.
Hi.
You can learn more at www.butterflypeoplemovie.com.
Now, First City is a regional festival, but it is known for showcasing up-and-coming talent.
Yeah,
So that award is a really good indicator of his potential.
for sure. Definitely something to keep in mind. And his earlier documentary, Steadfast, from 2018, also won an award. Best Effects Documentary at the Barebones International Film Festival.
Wow.
And it was even featured on PBS
Really?
in 5 markets.
That's really interesting. You know that it won at Barebones and was featured on PBS
Yeah.
because Barebones is known for showcasing films with a strong social impact.
Yeah,
And PBS is very selective.
yeah,
This tells me that he's not just making films that are technically good, but he's choosing stories that really connect with people
that's a great point.
and have something to say.
It seems like he's really drawn to those projects with substance,
Yes.
which could be a good thing if you're looking for someone to bring depth and meaning to your video work.
Exactly. It shows that he's intentional about the films he makes,
Yeah,
which is a good sign for someone who wants their work to have a lasting impact.
absolutely. Now, before all of this, he worked at GMPI from 2013 to 2022
Okay.
as the primary video expert for their creative team.
Gotcha.
Imagine crafting messages for diverse audiences.
Yeah.
That takes a really deep understanding of communication strategy.
Oh, absolutely. And he was also responsible for reviewing and curating media from field partners,
Oh, wow.
often in different languages and with different levels of quality.
Wow.
This tells me that he's able to work with many types of content and maybe even in multiple languages,
Yeah,
which is definitely a valuable skill these days.
for sure. And on top of that, he was writing scripts for promotional videos, PSAs, newsletters, email blasts, and even social media posts.
Wow, he did all that.
Yeah, so this really shows that he has a broad understanding of marketing and communication strategies across many different platforms.
It really shows how versatile he is as a creative professional.
Yeah,
He clearly understands how to change his messaging
yeah.
to work for different mediums and audiences.
It's very impressive. He also had a stint where he was involved in everything from developing branding strategies to designing books and managing social media.
Okay.
Look at this range. Branding, book design, social
Yeah.
media. This shows me he's comfortable across different creative disciplines, which is valuable for someone like you who might need a multi-talented collaborator.
That's a good point. It shows his adaptability and willingness to take on new creative challenges,
Yeah,
which is really important today with how quickly things change.
absolutely. And here's another thing that I thought was interesting. He's fluent in both English and Spanish.
Oh, wow.
That opens up a lot of doors, right?
Absolutely, especially if you want to reach a broader audience.
Yeah.
Someone who understands different cultures and can create content that works for them is invaluable.
It really is. If you want to see more of his work, his online portfolio is at www.fishexpressions.com. He has his projects categorized by film, editing, animation, and graphic design.
Nice.
Speaking of personality, I'm kind of curious about what drives his creative choices.
Yeah.
Like, what stories do you think he's most passionate about telling?
That's a great question, and it's something that you could probably learn more about by looking at his portfolio and watching his documentaries.
Right.
You could even reach out to him directly and just ask him, think about his documentaries, The Butterfly People and Steadfast.
Hmm.
Even just those titles suggest stories that are going to be really visually interesting and have a lot of emotion in them.
Yeah, I bet they're more than just pretty pictures.
Right.
I bet they're stories that stay with you.
Definitely. And I think choosing those titles says a lot about how he understands imagery and language.
Yeah.
And remember, he has that marketing and branding background.
Yeah.
He knows how to connect with an audience on a deeper level.
Exactly. He's crafting experiences
Yes.
and connect with viewers on an emotional level.
It's all about making people feel things.
Yeah.
And starting conversations and trying to make a difference.
When you're looking for someone to tell your story, you need to think about more than just their technical skills.
Right.
You need to find someone who gets what you're trying to say and can connect with your audience in a meaningful way.
I agree. And I think Gregory's resume and portfolio
Yeah.
and all the awards he's won show that he's that kind of storyteller, someone who doesn't just do the work,
Right.
but really understands the art of communication.
So let's say you need a creative person for a project.
Okay.
What are some signs that Gregory might be the right person for you?
Well, first of all, his experience with those great documentaries
Yeah.
shows that he can tell stories that keep people interested.
Right.
And all the awards just prove it.
And his diverse skill set, which includes script writing, graphic design, and social media marketing,
Yeah.
shows that he can be creative and work on many different platforms.
Exactly. He's really adaptable, which is important today because the world of media is always changing.
That's very true. He's not just a one-trick pony.
No,
He's like a creative chameleon.
I like that.
Right.
He can fit in anywhere and bring new ideas.
Exactly. And let's not forget that he's fluent in Spanish,
Oh, right.
which means he could help you reach even more people
It really does.
and create content that speaks to different cultures.
Absolutely. Having those language skills is really valuable today because we're all so connected.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like he has everything you'd want.
He does.
The experience, the skills, the passion, the cultural awareness.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
So if you were thinking about hiring Gregory,
Yeah.
it's about more than just his skills.
Yeah.
You also want to know how he communicates, how he works under pressure.
Right. So talking to those who actually worked with Gregory
Uh-huh.
can tell you things you wouldn't find.
Absolutely. You want to make sure you're making a good decision.
Right.
And the person you hire is not only skilled,
Yeah.
but also a good fit for your company culture.
That's really important.
You can teach skills,
Right.
but personality and work ethic are a lot harder to change.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot today.
We have.
Gregory's skills, experience, passions, and even what his personality might be like.
Right.
But before we finish this deep dive, we need to ask ourselves what this all means for you, the listener.
Oh, that's a great point.
We've been looking at Gregory's resume
Mm-hmm.
and talking about his career.
Right.
But how can you use this information in your own life? Let's think about the bigger picture for a minute. This isn't just about what Gregory can do. It's about how important storytelling is for all of us
Exactly.
in our lives and our careers.
We all have stories, and
Yeah.
how we tell them can make a big difference.
We use stories all the time to talk to each other, to get people to agree with us, to inspire people.
Right.
Gregory's career just shows us how important it is to be good at telling those stories.
Yeah, and what I find really interesting is that he didn't just follow the usual career path.
Right.
He combined his passions for film and design and communication
Yeah.
to make his own way.
And that's really inspiring to see.
Yeah, it really shows you that you don't have to fit in a box.
Mhm.
You can make your own path and be successful.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Gregory Fish's work and skills, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay.
We've seen how he's used his talent to tell stories for companies and people and even himself.
Right.
But what stories do you think he's really passionate about?
Yeah. What do you think gets him excited to make a film?
We've only seen a little bit of what he can do.
Yeah.
Imagine what he could do with the right project and the right support.
There might be stories out there that only he can tell.
Right.
Stories that need his skills and his way of seeing things.
So as you go about your day, think about this. What stories is Gregory Fish just dying to tell? And how could his skills be used for projects beyond documentaries and those promotional videos?
That's something to think about.
It really is. That's all for our deep dive today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep telling your stories.